This is the war. We came to Syria not knowing who's inside the country. People started running around and asking everyone to leave their homes, for the rebels want to liberate the area. My mother told us in great fear we'll be leaving permanently to Jordan. My siblings and I started to prepare our bags and gather the things we like. Though we like all our belongings, we could only take a few of them.
That night, time has passed very quickly, and the sun rose earlier than usual to tell us it's time to leave. The moment that I've never wished for had arrived, to be forced out of my country. We took our luggage and put them in the cab. My heart was crying before my eyes. Hence I was asking myself, oh my country, who knows how long will I leave you, and when I return, will I find you the same? Sorrow was strangling me, making me weak.
I used to live in Dara, a city few hundred meters away from Ramtha, Jordan. Every Friday, after prayer, we would go to the marketplace to buy hummus and bread, to find half of our fellow customers coming from Ramtha, as neighboring cities would naturally do. We arrived at the Jordanian borders, and despite the good reception, I felt like I had become a refugee, which made me feel very angry. We got registered, my mother and my siblings, in a food program that turned us into numbers. Numbers for food, numbers for mobility, and numbers for healthcare. However, I am a number that dreams to go back to its home and to its humanity.
I respect those who helped us, opened their homes and hearts for us. When I used to pay the rent for our Jordanian landlord when we first migrated, his eyes would go into tears every time I offered him money, and he would say, "Keep it until your financial situation gets better." I also respect those who listen to our stories and our sorrows and try to help us. But I don't like to be abused, and I don't like the gasmen who come in the morning, waking me up while playing their ugly music as if the houses are empty.
My country is a body without a soul, Syria. One of security, generator of all virtues, and home of all kindness, who caused tears for millions of people and forced us to leave to Jordan, due to pain, rage, fear, and damage they had to bear. Oh, how I hope that Syria will go back to its previous status, the country of safety, prosperity, and hospitality to all its guests.
One summer day, we were gathered happily in our courtyard for breakfast when suddenly we heard the sound of a mega airplane flying above our heads, trying to identify a target. The plane started to raid, and the noise was so loud that all our windows were shattering and the doors were shaking. The plane hit a nearby house, 2 stories, and destroyed it. No one of the inhabitants of that house was left alive, except for a baby girl who flew off the window from the intensity of the bombing and had to live deprived of her parents and her family.
My mother used to fear for us immensely, for the grave of my father was still wet and her wound was bleeding and her pain was not buried yet. War started to grow and fear started to control our emotions.
My country turned from being peaceful, friendly, and serene place into fearful, devastating, and destroyed place.
With the fear and caution, my mother started preparing us that she will take us away from our adored country. We refused the idea totally and completely, till we understood that my mother is not able to bear the loss of anyone after my father.
We therefore decided to submit and leave to where she wants. One gloomy day she said, "Tomorrow we are leaving to Jordan." We started to pack. I did not have any time to say goodbye to my dearest person after my parents, Farah, my cousin, who used to fill my life with joy. I said goodbye to my grandies and to my aunt who lived with us during the war. We were crying and they're telling us,
"Take care, don't worry, you'll be back, you'll be back."
The events accelerated until my last day in Syria. I went with my brother and sister to our grandparents' place. We weren't able to stay there for a while due to the intense raiding on our neighborhood. I went there after being away from it for a while, and I felt as if I would never see it again. I rushed to the kitchen to take some food and then to the bedroom to gather some clothing. I started hugging my brother and sister as if it would be the last time that I would ever see them.
As we intended to leave the house, the radiant seed and my brother said, "Sister, we're going to die here." We were barely able to get out, and our father dropped us at our grandparents' house because it was safer, and he went out with his friends. We all wished to leave Syria because we were afraid for our lives.
1 hour later, my family were informed that the cellar in which my father and his friends were have been raided. I've seen the bomb placed and the burned people lying on the floor. I even crossed over my father, not knowing it was him. However, I kept saying, I know this face. May God protect him.
At night, my brother informed me that my father was among the injured. I rushed to the hospital, and for the second time, I could not recognize him due to the burns on his body and face. He stayed 4 days in bed, but was clinically dead. Many days had passed, but that horrific day never left my mind. It is carved in my memory, with its minutes passing over hours and its hours over days.